Morning historians, Pat here again. Today, in line with Black History Month, we're going to learn about one of the most cruel and inhuman aspects of racism, South African apartheid. Also, we're going to learn about one of the leading key members of anti-apartheid was a guy called Steve Biko. Apartheid was a set of laws introduced by an all-white minority government to ensure that non-white majority of the population were kept down. The word apartheid comes from the Afrikaans separateness, which means keeping the whites and the non-whites separate. As you can see from this picture, the picture on the left shows a township. The one on the right shows a white gated community with security. The picture on the bottom shows a black lady, who was only allowed into the white areas during working hours, after which she'd have to return back to her ghetto. How was race defined during apartheid? Well, apart from the obvious, there were tests. One test, which sounds a little ludicrous really, was called the pencil test, whereas a pencil was put in your hair, and if you could shake your head without the pencil falling out, you was deemed non-white. This would map out the whole of a child's life. In a famous case, a somewhat dark-skinned girl named Sandra Lang was born with two white parents. In 1966, when Sandra was aged 11, she was subject to a pencil test by a stranger in school and subsequently excluded from her all-white school when she failed the test. She was reclassified from her birth race of white to coloured. Sandra and the rest of her family were shunned by white society. Her father even took a blood test to establish paternity, and even though he was proven to be Sandra's father, the authorities refused to restore her white classification. Another case was when a brother and sister, the boy had dark curly hair and the sister had fair hair. The boy states that, at that time, I wouldn't be able to walk down the road with my sister. I wouldn't be able to sit on the same park bench or go to the same cinema or travel on the same bus as her. I could do nothing with her. We're now going to look at some pictures. These are actual posters that were displayed around South Africa during the time of apartheid. Just look at them. This one for me is the worst. I've highlighted what it says on the sign, for European children only. And as you can see there, there's a young kids playing in what looks like a lovely park, but they all happen to be white. And this one, as you can see, danger, you'll be shot and the dogs will rip you apart. I'm sure we've all heard of Nelson Mandela. Well, at the time when he was in prison, he served 26 years trying to fight this horrible oppression. A young guy named Stephen Biko, who was just an ordinary black man, was very bright at school and went on to become a medical student. But during his time at university, he was expelled because of his political beliefs and his political activities. At the time when Nelson Mandela and other leading South African activists were in jail, Biko formed an organisation called Black Consciousness, which was like an awakening to the black people. He was very eloquent and frightened the white supremacist authorities because his simple message was making people aware that they deserved equality. At a time when black people of South Africa had been systematically indoctrinated to believe they were inferior, he made quotes such as, "If you're black, you're okay as you are. No need to seek white appendages such as pink nail gloss and lipstick." He was arrested one night with a friend and detained. He never left jail alive. The beating he received caused a brain hemorrhage and he was left on the jail floor, manacled and naked. He was denied medical assistance. He was 30 years of age. He was killed because he believed that blacks should be proud. He was a martyr. The apartheid government feared ideas that threatened their authority. A quote from Stephen was, "Whites must be made to realise that they are only human, not superior." The South African authorities initially claimed that he died on hunger strike, but he was only in custody for 10 days. The first 3, he was with his friend. Okay, so he's only 7 days on his own, and to die of hunger, it takes between 6 and 8 weeks for a healthy, average man. After apartheid was finished and the white supremacists were removed, one of the conditions was that people who committed political crimes would not be imprisoned, would not be charged, would get away with it, in fact. Okay, so 4 police officers who were involved in Stephen's death, he was beaten to death, basically. His head was severely damaged. Okay, they admitted to it in the hope that they'd be given leniency. However, leniency was denied to them. One of the ones responsible for Stephen's death was a man called Gideon Newald. He was the most fierce interrogator in South Africa. He went to extreme measures. He was ruthless. He killed many people. He was charged with the murder of many people at the end, but he claimed leniency. He was never executed, but one occasion was he dressed as a priest to go and interrogate a prisoner to extract a confession from him. Okay, he died in jail of stomach cancer.